This is the GepRC HD FPV quadcopter, and I've been playing with it for the past couple of days, and I've been flying it pretty much anywhere, even inside the studios you were able to see, and I've been having so much fun with it. And I want to tell you a bit more about it, as I believe this one is pretty much perfect for any beginner looking to get their hands on an FPV HD quadcopter in 2020. But let's start with some specs first. This drone is extremely light and compact. It's just 128 grams. It's a 2-inch quadcopter, and it fits in my palm. And the best thing about this is that it has the DJI FPV system inside. It comes with the Cadex Vista on board, so it doesn't use the DJI Air unit. This is the smaller version. If you're not familiar, the Cadex Vista is just a more portable DJI Air unit. So it gives you the same strength of signal, gives you the same range pretty much. It uses a different antenna on the back, but it uses the same camera in the front as the regular DJI Air unit. So pretty much I can fly this quadcopter the same way as I fly my other FPV drones. I will have the same signal, I will have the same quality in my goggles, and this is something that I really enjoy, because otherwise you will have to compromise with the quality if you're using analog FPV system. So this one is really good quality in terms of what you're seeing in the goggles. The main disadvantage that this drone has is because it uses the tiny Cadex Vista, it doesn't have onboard recording, because it doesn't have an SD card slot. So if you want to record any video with this drone, you will have to use the video that you have in your DJI goggles. So that's a little trade-off that you'll have to do if you want to fly something as portable as this. You cannot put a GoPro on it because it's just too heavy, so the motors will not be able to sustain the GoPro and its weight. However, if you do have one of these laying around the house, this is the Insta360 Go, and if you mount it on the top of the drone, you will be able to actually record full HD videos with this camera. They recently updated their firmware, so you can now record up to 5 minutes of footage, which is plenty for the flight time that you will be getting out of this drone. So there is a way to record full HD videos with this drone if you are not willing to compromise with the videos that you record from the DJI goggles. However, I don't really think that's necessary, as this drone is not meant to be a Cinewhoop. It's not meant to record high quality video footage. It is something that you can fly around the house, practice some moves, practice going through tight spaces and little gaps. And I personally would never use this for capturing cinematic footage. It's just a little bit of fun that you can use when it's raining outside and you want to fly inside the house, or in very tight spaces where you just want to fly and see if you can fit the quadcopter through these gaps. If you don't have the Insta360 Go, but you still want to record full HD footage, you can get the Rocket Plus. This is the Rocket Lite, and it has the Cadex Vista. The Rocket Plus comes with the DJI Air unit, the full-blown Air unit. So you will be able to put an SD card inside the Air unit and record inside the Air unit in 1080p. Which is a great idea. Personally, I don't think that's necessary for my needs. So the Cadex Vista is actually something that I wanted to try out, and I've been very happy with the signal strength, the range, and everything about the Vista is just as good as the regular DJI Air unit, besides the SD card slot. So if you're looking for something more cinematic, of course, a Cinewhoop is a better choice, and stay tuned because I will have one very soon on this channel. I'm very excited about that. But as the Rocket Lite, I really think it's not meant to be used for cinematic footage. It's mainly used for having a little bit of fun, flying around little gaps, obstacles, and just practicing your moves when it comes to flying close to some other object. Now let's talk about my flying experience with this drone, because it's very different compared to this one. For example, this is my regular 5-inch freestyle quadcopter. It uses the same DJI FPV transmission system, but it's very different to fly. So the first impressions which I had from this quadcopter was that the throttle response is very different. You really need to push your throttle a lot more if you want to gain some altitude with this one, as the motors are of course a lot less powerful, so you need more stick input from the remote so you can make it go higher. But once you manage the throttle response and you get used to the throttle, it's very easy to control it and to fly it smoothly, I would say. These prop guards, for example, are extremely beneficial to have, especially if you're flying around the house or near obstacles. I have tested this in my parents' construction site. They're building their house, and I went to try it out there because I know there will be many gaps there. Unfortunately, one of my very first flights with this drone ended up with a little bit of a disaster, as even though it has these prop guards, the drone was not very well protected from the front. The camera was protruding just a little bit, and just enough so I can break the lens. So I broke the lens on my second day of flying this quadcopter. Luckily, I have quite a lot of different spare parts and different quadcopters in my house, so I was able to do a little transplant and use one of the cameras from one of my other quadcopters and just place it inside this one, and now I have this protection on the camera itself, so it's not going to be damaged if I crash it from the front. It's going to be protected. So just a little tip for you guys: if you're flying something like this and you don't have any protection on the camera, it's best if you can 3D print some of these camera protection mounts that you put on top of the camera, and it's protected. So now even if you crash it from the front, it's not going to damage the lens of the camera. Otherwise, you'll have to pay for a lens replacement, which is about $9, and I have ordered one, but until it comes here, luckily I have another camera to use for this drone. As for the quality coming from the camera of this drone, like I said, you shouldn't expect anything too high because it uses the camera of the drone to send the footage to your goggles, and you record the footage inside the goggles. So it's not something high-end like a GoPro or anything like that, but for your personal usage, I think it's fine. You can see every little detail, you can see so much of the surroundings, and it's a DVR, it's not a camera recording. So if you have the right expectations, I think you will be very happy with this drone. So like I mentioned earlier, I have been flying this drone for the past couple of days, and I've been using it with these batteries right here. These are the Tattoo 2S 650 milliamp hour batteries, and I have a couple of these which are never enough. These last me for roughly 3 minutes in the air with a single charge, and I think that's great. I wouldn't go for anything higher than that because it makes the weight higher and it's difficult for the drone to fly. So the lighter the battery is, the better it's going to be. I think this is a good middle ground between lighter battery and good flight time. So these are the batteries that I'm using. As for crashing this drone, I think it's quite durable. The prop guards have been sturdy and I don't see any cracks into them or anything that is broken, and I have crashed this quite a lot. Unfortunately, like I said, the lens was protruding just a little bit, so I hit it straight in the front and I cracked it. But other than that, I think the carbon quality is great. The prop guards are great. The props are also great. I don't see them being bent or cracked or damaged in any way. So for the type of flying that I'm doing and the crashes that this drone has taken, I don't think it's bad at all. It's actually quite durable, so I can highly recommend you to check it out. The drone itself costs $318 on GepRC's website, which I'm going to link below. And depending on what type of remote controller you're using, you can check different receivers, and that will change the price a little bit. However, if you want to get a complete bundle, so this drone, the remote controller and the FPV goggles, you can do that. It's just under $1,200, I believe. And there you guys have it. This is the GepRC Rocket Lite. It is a little rocket indeed, and I've been having a lot of fun flying this around. So I want to thank GepRC for sending me one of these to check out, and I really liked flying a drone with the Cadex Vista on board. So with that being said, drop a like on this video if you have enjoyed it. Write down a comment if you have any questions that you want me to answer. And make sure you're subscribed for my next videos, because I have a lot of things that I want to share with you. A Cinewhoop is coming to the channel very soon, and I'm excited about that. So stay tuned. See you soon. Take care and goodbye.